As a reading specialist, several of my classes focus a lot on building vocabulary and expanding vocabulary knowledge. Um, so I personally looked for different websites and applications that would focus specifically on vocabulary and literacy learning. One of the websites that I found is called vocabulary.com. Vocabulary.com is a little like a Google Classroom and a little like Quizlet in that it gives you a classroom situation where you can put in the information that you want your students to learn. You can assign them to a classroom, you can upload things and it will email and let them know. But a little like Quizlet in that you give it information and it will help create the games and create the activities for you so that you don't have to try and find those things and figure them out. One of the easiest things to do is you can type in a list of words. So say you're a student and you want to come to vocabulary.com and just do a little work on your own. You can type in a few words. For instance, in our class, some of the words we've learned are abundant, vast, journey, and facilitate. And then you click Start Learning Teaching, and it automatically tells you, okay, here's a list of words, and it gives you a definition for each of those words. You can then save those lists of words, and you can either assign them out to somebody, or you can help somebody learn them. You can play games. For instance, choose the best picture for a pyramid. You click on pyramid and it says absolutely, and it gives you information about the pyramid, but also talks about the different meanings that there are related to a pyramid. And so that's a game that your students can play. You can also create an account, which I have already done. And with that, you can start teaching. So it knows I'm an educator because I've already signed up. You can create a new class. And so you would say, for instance, that my class is First Hour Adventures, which is one of my reading classes. And I'm not going to worry about the start or end time. And the grade level, unfortunately, I'm not required to put in the grade level my students are in, but the grade level in which they read, which for a lot of my students is around the 4th or 5th grade. And then you can create your class. Oh, and it looks like I do have to pick a date. So we're just going to say through Christmas, because when we come back from for the new year, I'll have new classes. You create your class. And you can invite your students by putting in their email address, or you can share an invitation URL, much like when you're on Google Classroom and you can give them a code or you can send them an email. You can add teachers and co-teachers. You can do an educator edition, which makes it a little more robust if you have several people involved. And then you can create assignments. So I can create my own list. So like we did on that first page, we're going to put in abundant, vast, facilitate, journey, and let's add one more. We've also learned advocate. Although it may think advocate. No, it actually did the right one. Perfect. So we could say this is Unit 1 vocabulary and assign these words. And it requires you to choose what kind of assignment. So do we want to do practice, an adaptive activity where they answer a few questions on each word, a quiz where they choose specific words and we can decide what the question types and the meanings will be. They can do a team competition, kind of like Quizlet Live, and they can do a spelling bee where they're required to spell every word on the list. And if they get it wrong, we follow up until they learn the spelling. So for instance, if we went to practice, you click your class and you say next. You say when it's visible. You can put directions if you need them. and you assign your practice. So if we go to that, it will then tell me how many students have done it, how many points they've gotten, and how many words they've mastered. In Student View, you can then see the game that they have set up for us, and you can choose Advocate. Which one of these does it mean? Is it a person who employed to carry luggage? Probably not. A person who pleads for a person, cause, or idea? That sounds about right. A person with a belief in superiority over one person? No. So I would say it's the first one, and so then it would say yes, and it would give you more information about it, just like we saw on that first page. And you can continue to move forward until you've completed all of your words. Normally we have 12 words per unit, so it would be a little longer of a quiz, but since this is just a sample, I think this gives you a pretty good idea. Then you can, like I said, do other options. So spelling,
Journey.
see, it tells you exactly what the word is, and then you decide how to spell it. And it tells you if you're correct.
Abundant.
So I felt like this was a really helpful website. It works on all the different internet browsers that I've tried, and I've used Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, and Firefox, and haven't had an issue with it on any of those. You saw that it is compatible with Google. If you are a Google Classroom, like my school does everything in Google, you can automatically connect it to that, which is what I did. As far as the ISTE standards, I believe that this fits under the teacher standards again. ISTE Teacher 1C, so facilitate and inspire student learning and creativity, and then C is promote student reflection using collaborative tools to reveal and clarify students' conceptual understanding and thinking, planning, and creative processes. I think this fits because the students are able to take what we're learning in the classroom and utilize it in a different way to clarify their conceptual understanding of the vocabulary we're working on. Additionally, I think it also fits under ISTE Teacher 2, which is design and develop digital age learning experiences and assessments, and then A, which is design or adapt relevant learning experiences that incorporate digital tools and resources to promote student learning and creativity, which I think this definitely does. We're learning our vocabulary in class, we're doing things in word activities and quizzes and tests, and we're reading in the classroom, and this gives them the opportunity to utilize digital tools and resources that will give them other ways to expand their learning and expand their knowledge of this vocabulary, making their scores on their tests much higher. So I think this is a really good tool to be used by teachers who are trying to give their students a leg up on their vocabulary education.